New York threat extremely serious. Official warns as ISIS crosses border. Now, do you think they're referring to ISIS, the real ISIS, the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service? I mean, do you think there's any possibility to it? So, as we go forward here, I want you to see how they can want to control your mind and your very actions and your beliefs. So, Q&A. Researcher discusses what we need to worry about with the avian flu and what we don't, the bird flu. So they want to tell you what you need to worry about. This is what you should worry about, and this is what you should not worry about, all because they tell you. So here are the people that God has condemned, that he called natural born liars, children of the devil, and they're going to tell you what's going to make you sick, what's not going to make you sick, and this is what you should worry about. The people that God has condemned. Now, what do you think, folks? These two people of 1924 would say to the evil and insane followers of the state of Israel in 2024, the wild pigs and dogs of today. People of 2024 clap, cheer, and support the murder of women and children. And more importantly, they clap and cheer and support and go along with the mockery of Jesus by the people that Jesus condemned. I'll show it again because I want you to see it. Here is Nikki Haley, who was running for the selection of president. And let me explain something to you about these presidents. When a president takes power, it's a lie. There's no such thing as a president taking power. A president takes an office. Okay, he literally, that's all he does. He takes an office. He gets a chair, a suit, he gets some protection, he gets to look good, he gets to go in front of a camera. That's all he gets as an office. He has no power. A president will not mention the Federal Reserve. He can't do it. He will not mention the entertainment industry. He will not mention who's behind pornography. He will not mention Wall Street. He cannot do it. He will not mention Hollywood. He will not mention the slave trade that's going on today. He will not mention the poisons in your food and water. Yes, even your water. And most importantly, let me tell you what he cannot say above all. He cannot, under any circumstances, criticize the state of Israel. He cannot, under any circumstances, say the word Jesus. Occasionally, he may utter the word God to appeal to the insane, crazy people on what's called the right wing, but he will never say the name Jesus. Now, let me show it again. This is Nikki Haley, who was running for the office of president. Here she is signing missiles from the United States that are sent to Israel to bomb poor children and women in Gaza. U.S. politicians that have openly said, hey, we should bomb and kill everybody in Gaza. And what do the people here in the United States and Britain, Germany, France, and these white Western cultures, what do the masses, almost all of them do? They clap and go along. I give you my word before Jesus Christ. I'm telling you now. Sooner than you know, the clapping's going to come to an abrupt end. I promise you, and it will be with a great power, man. A great power. All right, folks. So, they walk a different path than us, these wild pigs and dogs. You see, they're not on our path. They are on another path. Psalm 25:10 says, all the paths of the Lord are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies, as to such that keep his covenant and his testimonies. Mercy and truth. Truth. I'm not united with Israel, the state of Israel, nor do I support Israel. I am united to Jesus and Jesus only. Jesus and his Father, Jehovah, condemned them. Why would any believer and lover of Jesus support what both Father and Son have condemned? Why? Two wild beasts. You're seeing prophecy unfold in the last days. Even the flag they wave in churches and businesses, and you see it everywhere. Even the flag is condemned by our Father, Amos 5:26, when he called it the star of the devil. And these are the same people who wish to ban the Bible and have it called hate speech for what it says about their masters. Why ban the Bible? The most evil and hideous book on this earth today is called the Talmud. It's called the Jewish Talmud. It originated in Babylon. It was called the Babylonian Talmud. Why is the Bible so offensive? It's only offensive if you know who you are and that the Almighty Father and His glorious Son named Jesus have condemned you. If you know who you are, it's offensive to you. It's offensive if it reminds you of the lie you're living. It's offensive if it reminds you of the fate and punishment that is coming to you. It's only offensive if you are not God's child. If you don't belong to Jesus, the Bible is offensive to you. If you belong to Jesus, it's the most beautiful book because it's God's truth. It's the words of Jesus here. It's the truth. It's a letter to us. It's a history book of our people. If one really believes in God, then one will surely believe and trust the Father, Jesus, and their words. If Jesus calls a people, point blank, you are the children of the devil, you are the synagogue of Satan, you are responsible for all the righteous blood that's ever been shed, could you expect a people to do anything, those people, but evil? Could you expect them to be honest? Ban the Bible, mind you. I'm going to show you something so beautiful today that most of you have never read it. You've never seen it. And if you have, I bet you just kind of glossed over it. Later on in the video, I'm going to show it to you, but I want to remind you of something that's in the Bible that they want to ban. Jesus Christ says, John 15:5. I've said this a lot in the past few months because it's important to you. Jesus says, I am the vine, ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, that means that you live in him and he lives in you. He that abideth in me and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me you can do nothing. Jesus says, without me you can do nothing. It does not say without the state of Israel. There's the verse. Read it for yourself. Does it say without the state of Israel? Does it say without the Jewish people? Does it say without Google, churches, politicians, the synagogue of Satan, the Pope, the World Health, professors, doctors, corporations, military, police, or anybody else? No, it says without Jesus, you can do nothing. That's power. That's truth. But Jesus said something else to me is so powerful and so deep that I bet very few of you have ever read it, but we're going to talk about it later on in the video. So the United States military cannot defeat a third world ragtag group called the Houthis. Yet the U.S. military believes and is actually pushing for a war on not one, not two, but 3 fronts in Russia, China, and the Middle East. I'm telling you now, it's going to happen. Jesus said if time were not cut short, there would be no flesh saved. Remember his prophecy. He said if the Father did not cut those days short, nobody would be left. Jesus' words are perfect. They are truth and they are life. But they want to ban his words. I want to share something with you today. A few words that most have never read or heard. It's more powerful and more amazing than you can understand. And we're going to read it today and understand just how powerful it is. Now, before we get to that, I want to remind you of our last video. It was titled American Pigs. And if you've not watched it, you should do so because it talks about you, talks about your family, and why so many people are against you and why you should reject and stay away from wild pigs and dogs. So, a preacher says the state of Israel must be supported or God will curse the nation. If he were really of God, he would not fear those who call him a liar and or wrong. He would be willing to prove his alleged truths. The preacher cannot prove his lie. Therefore, he suppresses those who know the truth. The congregation will scream how those who disagree are not of God. Again, if they're right, why not prove your truth using God's truth? They can't and they know it. And these are the same people that are willing to go along with banning the Bible. For this is the power of our Father, Jehovah. He gave us his word, his truths. He gave us this in written form. He promised it would last forever. It has and it will. If the preacher were really called by God to preach the truth, he would preach Jesus, not the state of Israel and the Jewish people. It would be Jesus 24/7. It would be Jesus today, tomorrow, yesterday, and every day. It would be Jesus. It would be Jesus at breakfast. It would be Jesus at dinner. Jesus. At no other time in the history of mankind, has there been such a war on God, our Father, and his Son Jesus. Google is not God. The state of Israel is not God. The Federal Reserve, you're not God. You only pretend to be. It's a lie. You're living a lie. The state of Israel, you're not God's chosen people. You're not my salvation. Jesus is. And you ain't Jesus. The governments and corporations and politicians are not God. They are not Jesus. Romans 9 and Jesus in chapter 8, Jesus calls you the children of the devil. In Romans chapter 9, 17 through 23, it says you were born evil. Born evil. The book of Revelation, Jesus calls you Mystery Babylon. The merchants of Mystery Babylon. And Mystery Babylon is where? Jerusalem. Not the United States. Not Mecca. Not Rome. Not London. None of that. Not Hollywood. Jerusalem. Because Mystery Babylon is where Jesus was crucified at. According to Scripture, which is perfect. So all over this earth, people watch the TV. They surf the internet looking for the truth. And they want it to be their version of the truth. This makes it a lie. Masses of people will say, God bless Israel. They say we must stand with Israel. They say we must support Israel and love the state of Israel no matter what they do. I do not share this, for I know it's a lie. It's not from my Father, and my Father is the truth, and my Father gave a part of himself and said this is the only way back to me. Jesus. And no, not no fake name. Jesus. I live for Jesus, not the state of Israel. I follow, walk, and hear Jesus, not the state of Israel. It's Jesus then, now, and tomorrow. The people you see and hear professing the state of Israel is chosen are the proselytes that Jesus told us about in Matthew 23:15. This is what Jesus said to the Jews in Matthew 23:15. He says you compass the whole earth. He says you sail the seas, you walk the earth, and you find proselytes, which is followers. And when you do, you make them twofold more the child of hell than who you are. These are your churchgoers. These are your atheists. These are your UFO people. These are your Fox News and your Trump cult. However, it's not limited to them. There are droves of people surfing the internet and in this world that are spewing lies and hate about Jesus, our Father, and the Holy Word. Now, before we get to this, I want to show you something beautiful and powerful. In Matthew 28:18, Jesus says he has all power. All of it. It's all given to me. Does the state of Israel, corporations, governments, and the followers of evil have all power? Well, call on them for help and see what happens. If you're on the side of the road and you need help bad, call on Google, call on the state of Israel, see what happens. Call on Jesus Christ and see what happens. There is Jesus and he is all that we need. Does Jesus ever tell you to follow those that he condemned? Can you imagine saying you love Jesus, I love you, you're my life, yet you denied him out of the side of your mouth and follow and support the people that he called the children of the devil, and he called him the synagogue of Satan. Welcome to the white world. And yet there are still the naive and stupid saying that all white people we're all a family and we should stick together. There are no limitations. And now we're going to get to it. So let's go to the top of the mountain and let's sit together in spirit and let's let Jesus tell us something that's so beautiful and so powerful that you hold on to it, man, for the rest of your life and you call on it. There are no limitations. And you remember this as things grow worse, and it is going to grow worse. During our lives, your life, we've always needed help. Sometimes every day. And if you need help every 5 minutes, so be it. Jesus does not care. In the coming days, you're going to need more help. Tribulations are going to fall on this nation and earth. Men and women will put their trust in men to save them. They will put their hopes in mere men who are evil and do not care at all about the people. This is a fact, and it's happening now. Now, I'm going to show you something, and I hope it moves you and helps you as you go forward and you remember the power, and there are no limitations on the King of Kings, Jesus. In John chapter 21, Jesus Christ has already been, he's been crucified and he's been resurrected and he has returned. And he returned multiple times to talk to the apostles. Now, after he comes back, he sees the apostles, they're fishing, and he talks to them and he calls them to shore. They have a fish dinner and he talks to them. And he tells Peter, this is John chapter 21, he tells Peter of his fate. This is what your life's going to be. It's very powerful. Now, as he gets through telling Peter that, his fate, Peter, being Peter, and I love Peter. Peter was strong. Peter was a scrapper. But Peter was always curious. And Peter wanted to know to Jesus, well, what about John? What's his fate, Master? And this is what Jesus says to him, and I want you to think about it hard and hold on to it. John chapter 21, verses 21 and verses 22. Peter, seeing him, saith to Jesus, Lord, what shall this man do? And he's talking about John, the apostle John. And listen to what Jesus says to Peter. Jesus saith unto him, if I will that he tarry till I come, what is that to thee? Follow thou me. Here Jesus is telling Peter, look, what if I keep him alive until I come back? It's mine to give, Peter. It's mine. If I want John to stay alive for 2,000 years, I can do it. If I don't want John to be touched, he won't be touched. You see, because Jesus has all power. This is the power that should give you cold chills. This is Jesus Christ saying, there are no limitations on me. None. There's limitations on everything, but not Jesus. Now you remember this and you pray always for help. You are loved more than we know. That's how loved we are, man. We are the children of Jesus Christ. Now, to make a short point about how incredibly delusional this nation is, I ask you to think about this. A man or a woman will read a book, watch a video, read an article, and it becomes truth. But what God says, they doubt and outright deny. So the internet's truth, TV's truth, politicians' truth. But God, no. Him and Jesus, they got it wrong. 1 Peter 3:22 says, who has gone into heaven, talking about Jesus, and is on the right hand of God, angels and authorities and powers being made subject unto him. Being made subject unto who? Unto Jesus. Because that's the boss. Make no mistakes about it, my brothers and sisters. Jesus Christ is the boss. He is the boss. There is no spiritual discernment in this nation. Many of the evil views that delusional people believe about our Father, Jesus, and the Holy Word come directly from the internet. Now, certainly churches and schools have played their roles, the media, I get it. However, the internet in the past 20 years is unmatched in what it has done to deceive the people. Yes, you can do some good because I'm doing it now, but most of the internet is straight up lies. We're in 2024. And these people that follow the lies are going to feel the tribulation. They scream they need not God. We don't need Jesus. To which I reply, why would they need, love, and desire Jesus if they don't know him? You see, you're either a part of it or you're not. There's no middle ground. John chapter 10, verses 4 and 5. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And the stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. This is the words of Jesus. We hear and follow Jesus. We don't know strangers, man. We know Jesus and nobody else. We follow Jesus because he loves us and he loved us before we came here. He calls us by name and we follow. We do not and cannot hear the voice of anybody else. We know Jesus and nobody else. America is living the last legs of a delusional fantasy of things being great. They're going to make it great again. No, they're not. No, they're not. War's coming, and people don't even believe it. Distress upon this nation has never been known. The supplies are going to lessen. Prices will rise even more. Gas will soar as it did before. Mark my words. Symptoms of a nation that openly has mocked God, denied Jesus, and treats the synagogue of Satan as God. We're seeing prophecy unfold right before our eyes. The state of evil is desperate. They want to tighten the screws to prevent any criticism of themselves and their evil masters. It matters not, for in the end they will face the Son of God in all his glory, and they will be destroyed. Life is about Jesus. All religions are a lie, except what we have from the Father, and he gave us Jesus. Every other belief on this earth, past, present, and future, is a lie if it's not of Jesus. Jesus said, if anybody brings any other doctrine to you, don't even wish them God bless. Don't let them into your house. You don't let pigs and dogs come in and sit on your couch and talk to them about their lies and what's evil and filthy. The masses will not put their trust in the living God and his greatest gift that he's ever given, which is Jesus. Jeremiah 17:5 says, thus saith the Lord, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. He says, cursed is the man when you start trusting in other men, as if they can do something for you. God gives you everything, and God is who? God gave us Jesus, a part of himself. Jesus had glory with the Father before any of this was ever here. The end will be a series of waves, some big, some small, some moments of calm. You pray always. You seek his counsel on what you should do and not do. Remember, to prepare is to pray. Pray. Prayer is how you prepare. You got to pray. And sometimes the Spirit's going to move in you so powerful it feels like it's just taking over. Go with it, because it is. It's called the Holy Spirit. I ask you to keep preparing, and more importantly, I tell you to keep praying. You are loved. You're not here by chance. For the perfect word says the Father chose the time and place of our births. There are no coincidences with the Almighty Father. He doesn't make mistakes. Men do. The Father and Jesus do not. They are here with us now. They are here for us always. Remember, prayer is your greatest weapon. It's your water. It's your food. It's your shelter. It's your lights. It's your gun. It's everything. It's your navigation. It's your compass. It's everything. Prayer. We're going to see really bad times come up on this earth. Really bad times. And your prayer is private. It's personal. It's a deep way of staying close to the only thing that matters. And friends, this life is not about anything but your Father and Jesus Christ. That's it. We're going to see bad things come. But be patient. Relax. It's your Father's will. Jesus loves you. He calls you by name. And there are no limitations. Remember, he just told you, there's no limitations on me. There's no limitations on his love, his mercy, and help for his children. Ask for what you need. And you ask for any and everything in the name of the name above what? All names. The most powerful name in heaven and in earth. There ain't but one name. It's Jesus and no other. May the Father bless each and every one of you. Amen.